OpenShift Assisted Installer is arguably the most simple installer for the Red Hat OpenShift platform. Even though it's been designed for a Baremetal deployment, it can also be utilized with other infrastructure platforms like VMware or Nutanix. In this case, simple also equals quick, so in the next 4 minutes, I will show you the complete installation process. Yes, it takes longer than 4 minutes to do it on the real hardware, so for the sake of time, I speeded things up, but just a bit. Let's go over the diagram first. Even though single node architecture is supported, we start with 3 controllers to achieve high availability. If you're strapped for hardware, those 3 controllers can also become your hyperconverged workers. It is more common and cleaner to separate workers into dedicated machines, which I prefer in my environment. You need a network that will route to the outside world. The requirement for cluster to be connected to the internet might be considered a drawback. The rest of requirements is fairly standard. DNS server and 2 A records for API VIP and a wildcard A record for the ingress. DHCP server is optional, and it's actually easier not to have one. The installation is web-based and you don't even need command line skills to get the OpenShift installed. If you prefer a ClickOps over a DevOps, the Assisted Installer is definitely for you. All the new installations will start from console.redhat.com. Full link in the description below. Specify your cluster name and domain name. The OpenShift version dropdown allows for older or latest and greatest versions of OCP. Optionally, you can specify integrations with third-party platforms. We're going to pick a static IP option and go to the next page. Now the general network panel shows the global settings for DNS, OpenShift network, and since this is a routable network, we need a default gateway. Press Next and define your host networking with its MAC and IP addresses. If you need network bonds or are looking for more customization, the YAML view is your friend. We're going with vanilla in my lab. Rinse and repeat for the rest of your nodes. There are extra operators that can be installed here, like virtualization, storage, or management. Very useful options, but we're skipping it for now. Believe it or not, but we are 50% there. Let's load up the Baremetal nodes with CoreOS. To do that, we're going to select Add Host and specify the provisioning type. The minimal will work for us. Paste your SSH public key and select Download Discovery ISO. The installer gives you shortcut links for your ISO. I like using wget option and load the ISO image directly on my local HTTP server. After closing the Add Hosts window, you want to load up the image on your Baremetal nodes. Power on the nodes and ensure the boot order will be able to boot from the removable media. The CoreOS will initialize on all of the nodes, and if you switch back to the Assistant Installer web console, you should notice the host screen getting populated with your machines. Either let the installer assign their roles or simply do that yourself. The next screen is for storage, but again we're keeping things vanilla in this lab. Finally, let's get the VIP assigned that we have pre-configured in our DNS server. One for API and the other one for ingress. Machines will again switch to ready state, and on the final screen the installer allows for a quick review of everything we've pre-configured. Hit that install cluster now and see the magic happen. Remember that this is a connected installation, so it will pull data from the internet. The installation can take a bit depending on your hardware and network connectivity. If you get bored or curious, feel free to review cluster events to get a better understanding of the installation process. Shortly after, you can download your keys to the kingdom, aka kubeconfig. Get it now and make sure you know where you store it. There's really not much more to do from here. Just sit back and relax until the progress bar gets to the 100%. Once you're there, copy the kubeadmin password and save it in a secure place. To get to your OpenShift dashboard, select Launch OpenShift Console. You will see instructions for DNS record. Since we've taken care of that earlier, you can ignore it and just launch the console. Your initial login name is kubeadmin and password is in your clipboard. For the production cluster, it's a good idea to set up a centralized authentication of your choice. I'd say easy peasy. But tell me, how do you feel about installing an enterprise open source software platform with just a web graphical interface and no CLI? Excited? Or maybe a little bit betrayed? Let me know in the comments section below. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.